Oh, it's so cold. Back there is the outside toilet. Look at this snowman. All the chickens are here. They have been just fed. There is an impressive piece of land here. Hey guys, it's Elena and this is Expat Experience, the channel in which I talk about the expat lifestyle. Currently I'm living in Odessa, Ukraine. However, this video is shot in my home country, Moldova. I haven't been here for over a year. I haven't seen all of my relatives due to coronavirus, and finally I am here. And I'm not going to take you to all the touristic places. This is just a visit to see my very close people, my family and my friends. So probably I'll keep all the touristic destinations for another video. This is just to show how regular people live here. I'll try to showcase a couple of villages, a couple of towns. Just a disclaimer, Eastern Europe is not the most beautiful in winter. Now is an exception because it's obviously snowing for a couple of days. Everything is white and gorgeous. But usually it's very bleak and dull. Look at this snowman. It's been constantly snowing for the last 2 days, which is very exciting, but very difficult for transportation. Last night when we were getting back to Anenii Noi, this is the town in which we're staying right now, it took us a very long while because the roads were super bad. So, in case you didn't know, we are now in Anenii Noi, which is a medium-sized town in Moldova. It's 10,000 people. It might not sound like a lot for the bigger cities out there, but it's a reasonably big town outside of the capital city. It's maybe 40 kilometers from Chisinau. I lived in Anenii Noi for a while, maybe a year, with Eugene when we first started dating, so I know this town pretty well. And I just can tell you that there are not too many things to do here. It's not a very exciting place, but it's comfortable in the way that it's close to Ukraine and it's close to Chisinau, so you know, you can get to different parts of the country quite easily. Anenii Noi is very residential. There are a lot of houses, apartments, and then there's power grid, church, school, a couple of supermarkets. Nothing noteworthy, to be honest. Like, it's not very picturesque or anything. Anenii Noi is usually 5 to 6 story buildings. I have never seen anything taller than this. And this is pretty comfortable, like small story buildings. Anenii Noi has a lot of land and could extend the number of houses they built, but I don't think it's such an in-demand area. Mostly people want to live in Chisinau or in bigger cities. This is the Anenii Noi school. And here's the bus stop for the kids. Back when I was living in Anenii Noi, they didn't have this bus stop, so I'm really happy they built one for the kids. It's a really nice, spacious building. I'm not sure how many children go to school here and how many classes, how many grades they have. My husband tells me it's only 5 grades, but maybe it's a gymnasium, meaning that kids from the 1st grade till the 9th grade study here. This is the main street in Anenii Noi. It's called the Chisinau Street, so the capital city name street. Usually people who go to Transnistria, to Pridnestrovia, pass through Anenii Noi to go to Tiraspol, Vender. But if you're going to Ukraine, you actually go on the highway, so don't go through the city. We are officially in the city center of Anenii Noi. You can see the 2 Moldovan flags in the wind right there, and a statue, rather ugly one, of Stefan cel Mare, which is supposed to be our greatest king, and not only supposed to, but he was really one of the greatest kings that Moldova ever saw. Usually people gather here, they decorate the main square. There are artists, they sing songs. This is an administrative building, as you can see by the flags. I'm not sure what they do here, but also a pretty low building. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 or 5 stories tall. But I like how they made it here. It looks pretty nice. This is kind of the administrative center, but if you go a little bit further into the city, there will be all the stores, all the shops. There are 3 supermarkets in Anenii Noi. One that has recently opened, very modern one, and we are looking to go there and buy some provisions because we've been stranded at home with no food, and we'll buy something for ourselves. The 3 big supermarkets are here, and the 4th supermarket just advertised on this billboard their products. So the cheapest one I heard from the locals is Local M, the one on the left. And then there are 2 chains, Videsco, which I wouldn't say it's a bad chain. They have a couple of stores in Chisinau, they're pretty good, but the one here is not, like, the quality of the products is not very good. So I don't like it as much. The new one that opened just recently is Renela on the right, and that's the one we are going to go into. It's a really clean store. They have a lot of products, a lot of imported stuff. You know, you could really pick and choose there. I'm in the Cobusca Veche village, which is in the center of Moldova, and I'm going to show you around. I think pretty much this is a typical representation of village in Moldova. So right now I'm at the entrance of this small house. Usually it's used during the winter, so you don't have to heat up the big house. That is the big house, and the people use it here in summer. Also, you can see there's this summer kitchen, also in use in the summer when it's too hot to cook indoors. And this is the cellar, or how we call it in Moldova, bitch. Usually the cellar is the ideal place for wine, all kinds of spirits, pickled vegetables, some fruits. We'll try to get there. I don't know if it's locked or not. We have to do a couple of chores here, feed the chickens, like check on other animals. So we'll do that shortly. Dar o s-a terminat de plouat. Până noi am căutat, ploaia s-a terminat. Și a săhrăniți mâțele?
Și mergem așa încolo. Nu pe aici,
I think we're going to feed the cats. Noi ne ducem să hrănim mâțele sau câinii sau pe cine?
Găinile, mâțele, câinii.
Aha, puteți deodată.
Ia uite, vedeți cum merg, ca artiștii. Ia că acolo mă așteaptă unul.
So apparently we're going to feed the cats, the dogs, the chicken, all the animals. You can see that the dogs and the cats are following Eugene's grandmother because they know what's waiting for them. There's an impressive piece of land here, and almost all of it is covered by vines. Then during the summer they plant tomatoes, cucumbers, probably some potatoes and corn in that patch of land that right now is just bare. But this is all vine to produce usually wine from them, or at least grape juice. Slippery slope. Boop.
Yeah.
Whoop. Opa. The grandma is going to feed the chicken. There's a lot of corn, I don't think chickens can eat whole corn, seeds. All the chickens are here. They have been just fed. The grandma is going to close them for the night, so there are no predators. And she has some eggs.
Era vara frumoasă, aici, dar nu e frumos. Aici vara când înfloresc, când învârdește pădurea asta.
Wild ducks, or in my grandma's village, they're also called deaf ducks because when they make sounds, you can't actually hear anything. It's more like a hissing than quacking. So we call them deaf ducks. We just went outside of the courtyard and found this beautiful bushes covered in moss. And everything is so green here in spite of it being the month of January. Grandma's house is the last house in the village. This is our fence and this is the forest already. The grandma was telling us that sometimes during the summer there are people who come here for picnics. She also mentioned there are sometimes wild animals coming from the forest, foxes and fazan. This is a bird. It is pretty nice here, but also a little bit cold. We fed the chickens, we fed the dogs, the cats, and I think that's it. We're going to go to the house now. Welcome to another village in Moldova. This one is actually only 20 kilometers from Chișinău. It's called Chetrosu, and it's the village in which my husband grew up. This is the old house that he grew up in. You can see by the decor of the outside of the house, there's lots of intricate ornaments on the outside. This was the style back when it was built, and we'll see the new house that was built just a couple of years ago. But yeah, about the village, it's a small village, 20 kilometers from the capital city, Chișinău. It's around 1,000 people, so it's not a big village. However, it is closer to the capital, and it's very close to the highway. Actually, the highway divides the village into two parts. So there's a lot of traffic here. It's louder, but thanks to this, it gets much more stores, commercial spaces, because all those people who pass through the village on the highway need to be catered to. They buy stuff from the village. And I think this ensures the prosperity. Because it's so cold, I'm going to do a very quick tour of the courtyard. So here is the gate. Eugene's dad, he works as a truck driver, hence the huge tires of trucks. There's the dog. He is very good today just because it's super cold and he doesn't want to lose any energy barking. But this is like a defense dog, like a barking dog. It's for security. If somebody comes unannounced or like it's a stranger, the dog would bark at those people. This is the garden. It's not as big as maybe the other gardens that we've seen, but here I would say maybe like 50% of the garden are vines. 50% of the garden are vines, because in every Moldovan household you have to have your vines to make your wine in autumn. It's a Moldovan tradition. I think these are all grapes that you like. Those are not table grapes, right? Those are grapes for wine. So if you go further, this is the place where Dad parks his car. My father-in-law, there's this place for washing the yard or for watering plants in the summer. And there are 2 sheds for chickens. Actually, this one is for ducks, but there are no ducks for the winter. only in summer and spring, and there are some chickens, but everybody is inside. Couple of roosters, couple of hens. Everybody is pretty stressed due to the cold winter. And this is the old summer kitchen. Oh, okay. Our other dog, Luna, is here. She's very, very cold, so she stays warm here. So Luna is not a defense dog. She's just like a cute dog that they keep around the house. So some grains, some flour, old stuff, and a stove. But I don't think, yeah, anybody uses it anymore. Behind the house, nothing really happens. There are just a couple of trees, and then you need to make shashlik, the Eastern European barbecue. We are making it there. This way is the new house and the remainder of the garden. This garden is for planting all kinds of fruits and vegetables, and these bushes here are raspberry bushes. Oh, it's so cold. Back there is the outside toilet. The old house doesn't have its own toilet, so when Eugene was small, he used to go into the outside toilet, but now the new house has an indoor toilet, which is very comfortable. So given that it's really, really cold, I think we'll just go inside. People have an older house, people try to build new houses. Oof. The Chetrosu village is divided in half by the highway, and unfortunately, oh no, there is a crossing. So there is apparently a crossing that I never knew of across the highway, because it's always dangerous to go to the shops, which are all situated on the other part. The reason why it takes maybe 30 or sometimes 40 minutes to get into the city is because you are going through lots of villages on the way, and there are speed limits, so you have to actually go slower than 60 kilometers per hour.